like this. Okay.
Looks good. Els,
Yeah.
where are you located?
Hi, Martin. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
My studio is Pilates, and I'm in Belgium, Bruges,
Belgium's in the
near to Bruges.
house.
Maybe you know Bruges from the movie,
I
the
don't
American
actually.
movie. So, do you know
Amazing.
Bruges? Yeah?
No, I don't.
Ah, you don't. But you know where Belgium is? A
I
little
do.
country over the sea, over the
Yeah.
ocean. Okay,
Well, I
good.
have a connection with Belgium in that there's a gentleman when I was working at the community center here where this gentleman's daughter is a Pilates instructor somewhere in Belgium, and he was coming to my class, and he told his daughter that he was doing Pilates finally, and she was like, she messaged me like, "Thank you, I'm so glad my dad's doing this. Make sure," and she was like, just so happy that her father finally found Pilates, even though his daughter had been teaching it forever. So,
Okay.
that was a while ago, but like it's funny how sometimes our parents don't listen to us, but then they find it on their own, right?
Yes, that's true. That's very true. Yes. So, yeah, actually, I'm not in the center of Bruges. I'm in a little village, 10 minutes from Bruges, something like this. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm in the nature, the green stuff. So,
You have a
very happy.
beautiful space behind you there. Look at those Swedish bars too.
It's a part of my studio. Yes, I thought let's sit in the middle of my studio, very
Yeah.
comfortable. It's more than my
Ooh.
relaxing part.
Yes. The
Yeah.
what are you like in terms of lockdowns and stuff? Are you guys fully open or you have any kind of restrictions right now?
No, no, we are totally open, of
Yep.
course, but every day it's changing, like everywhere in the world, I think. So
Yes.
let's say tomorrow, I don't follow the rules anymore. Let's say we
Hmm.
keep it safe, we follow the rules we have to do, but it's not that Belgium is in lockdown for this moment. Of course, the number is growing again, but
Yes.
it's like they are start to see, okay, the actually they want to keep the number in the hospital very low. So this
Yes.
number is this week it's like okay, it's growing, so they expect a peak, I think, the end of the week and the of the month. But
Yes.
yeah, every week the government is like talking about and what's going to happen. So I
Yes.
think tomorrow over they're going to decide again things, but they spoke about not going stronger or strictly in the rules. They keep it more soft. So I don't know. It's not like in the Netherlands last because the Netherlands were
Mm,
very worse last week, the last few weeks. So
yes.
yeah, but it's like a ping pong. Eh? Every day it's
Oh,
like
I know.
what's
It's
going to
true.
happen. So actually, I stopped looking to the news. We keep it
Hey,
safe here.
balance.
We try to do our best, taking the distance, opening the windows. I'm very lucky. My studio has big windows.
It's
So
beautiful. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
but it's of course it's colder. Maybe like in Canada, it's even colder. I don't know. So to open the
So
windows
cool.
every day, a whole
Yeah.
hour, it's frozen. But for that, I made sweaters with pilates on it. So I said, people,
Nice. There you
come on,
go.
buy a sweater, and you'll never have cold anymore.
Just keep the windows open and sell them sweaters, man. That's a good
We
strategy.
do our best. We do our best. And
I
actually,
was,
we try not to talk a lot anymore about COVID. Of course, it's there, and we have. I think we have to. Yeah, make a deal with it. And of course, for people who are very sick, it's worse, of course. But
Mhm.
I think it's a part of the life. Eh? Like everybody
It
is starting
is.
to think. If you see, it's almost 2 years. But anyway, so
Yes.
that's so far about COVID.
Yeah. Joel say Els is my Pilates sister.
Yes, he's my one of my brothers, and he's my very, very best Deerfield brother.
Yes.
Joel, my best friend. Yes, we all did the work with Jay. So I'm
Okay.
lucky to know them. I'm lucky to
Nice.
have them as the brothers, and we actually normally train every 2 weeks together, still
Hmm.
online. So and I'm coming, Joel. So COVID
Yeah.
or not, I'm traveling to America.
Are you?
Yes, I'm
Mm,
planned to it. Yes, in
amazing.
April. Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's so fun. I can't remember if I don't know how many were in your cohort, but I might have talked to everybody. Like from Miguel to Norm to um to Gloria. Like it just like I'm like, oh. Like everyone did the work, right?
Ah,
Leslie,
yeah.
who else?
Yeah, Leslie was at my group. You're in the Gloria, of course I know Gloria. We all know each other, of course.
Yes.
But we were all in other groups. So my group was also very special, of course, the most special group we could have.
Yes.
So, but it was in 2015 I did the work. So,
Okay.
voila.
Actually, so
Yeah.
can we just talk about that for a second? Because like the landscape of like teacher training
Yes.
is different now, right? And everyone has like their own studio teacher training. You can do it remotely. There's hybrid programs, all those things. But like everyone I've bumped into that did the work, that did this sense of like I'm going to fly in, sit under this person, learn, struggle, hate it, love it, like all the feels for those ones, they all have a very similar experience of like this camaraderie with their cohort.
You mean from doing the work and then
Yes.
developed our own thing? Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
actually, I didn't, for myself, I didn't go to J to, and to have in my mind, I'm going to develop my own training education.
Hmm.
But of course, you're going so deep that, yeah, when you go to J, I think we can say that they expect to have you already a level, not only
Yes.
the basic, of course. So we are all very ambitious to do learning for ourselves, to keep going on, and of course to spread the method to all the teachers in your own area. So
Yes.
yeah, of course, with COVID, I had plans. I had already all the teachers here in the area. They ask already for a long time, when are you going to teach or us these things? And I had a whole program ready for it, and then COVID came. But we have to
Oh boy.
say, I don't know. I speak for Belgium. America has always been very faster than Belgium. Belgium is like, okay, they do online, and now in the COVID, the whole digital system, it's growing here, of course, but we're
Good.
still not
Yeah.
at the same level and as America to use, if I talk to myself, to use the online system to teach also
Hmm.
education online. So let's say I'm more like this person. Let's see what happened, and then I'm more like a thinker. So I had
Yes.
to do it already for long, but then we could go out of the lockdown again, and then yeah, of course the trainers prefer to came back here. So I still teach little group trainers, but not like an
Okay.
official education. And I have to say, my background is physiotherapy. So
Oh,
if
is
you
it? Okay.
know, of course, we all like using our hands. So
Hmm.
of course, it's amazing the whole online system, because if it doesn't exist, yeah, could you imagine that we also had COVID without online? I can't. So thanks
Yes.
for that we have contact with everybody. But for to give education here, it's like the Flemish people are really, and excuse me, Flemish people, if you're watching, if I say this, we are a
Yes.
little bit later than most parts in America.
Yeah,
So
I can hear
actually,
it.
I just need to use my balls of my body and just do it. But it's like, and Joel knows me, it's like I'm always think and I want to be
Like
perfect, and then I
cerebral. Yes.
and of course I want to use my hands. So online is another way of thinking. But of course I did a lot of work online also, and I
Hmm.
it was more like private sessions teaching, and then
Yes.
yeah, and my online group for the students here, and of course I have a lot of clients and patients, still patients coming by doctors.
Okay.
So this is
Yeah.
more difficult than, yeah.
So are you still practicing as a physiotherapist as well to get referrals for patients, or is it just
Um,
primarily Pilates that you have there?
no, at this moment, I stopped doing the classic physiotherapy a few years ago. I worked
Okay.
for that in 10 years in a practice, but then I decided in 2000, and I started my studio in 2007. And
Okay. 7. Okay.
then in beginning, I combined it with still doing the treatment for patients in another practice. And I think it's, oh yeah, I forgot the time already. I think it's almost 10 years ago now that I really stopped the
The
practical
physio.
thing and only using the Pilates system. So I have the
Interesting.
whole classical system to treat the patients. But it's like they don't have the very
Interesting.
acute problems anymore. They still functional already, but still
Yes.
having a lot of yeah, people who coming with back problems. I don't have the very brain damage anymore, of course, but it's like you have
Hmm.
to choose. And yeah,
Yeah.
people talk people, doctors talk doctors, and then before you know, you have a lot of people who's
Well, I was
coming
gonna
with this
say
and that.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also,
So
so what are the demographics of the people who go to your studio right now? Like, are they like
um,
older, injury, performance, men, women?
oh,
What does it look like?
everybody,
Yeah.
everybody. But let's say the youngest is at this moment around 20, something like
Okay.
this, and the oldest is 82.
Yeah.
So,
Nice. Yeah.
and I have men of, let's say, at this moment, 35% are men. The
Hmm.
other person is a woman, of course. And I have a lot, yeah, from this person. I don't know, I don't figure it out like this, but let's say in my private sessions, I teach 16 hours groups, little
Hmm.
groups, and the rest is all privates or duo privates. And
Okay.
from the privates, you can say 80% has really problems with the back or the shoulders or the
Okay.
or very sport specific. Like I, as a runner, I'm a long distance runner.
Are you?
So of
Okay.
course, then you
You
also
get that whole
know
community.
runners, and every runner,
Yes.
if you know, have a problem here, or a biker have a problem there. So I have
Yes.
also a lot of sport specific people. Um, but I remember you said you came from the fitness world also,
Hmm.
your
Yeah.
background. So mine was also this, yes. And
Yeah.
then
So more the
I,
sports conditioning and like, personal
yes,
training,
yes,
sport conditioning and that sort of thing.
yes.
So
So that's
yeah.
also my background. Yeah. And
Yes.
then,
Also,
yeah.
there's a question there that's Seeds for Greatness is saying, what was the primary reason that you decided to drop your PT business to switch to Pilates?
Ah, yeah. Okay. Um, the reason was, let's say before, yeah, like for me, if you mean a fitness world, I don't see it as a personal trainer, that is me, because I came from the aerobic hip hop industry.
Oh,
So
okay. Yes.
yes, I teach a lot of classes, national and international, as a presenter. And then when I think it was in 2007 when I was in New York and doing the Pilates conference, and a very famous teacher in Netherlands, she says, "Els, I really think for you as a perfectionist, you really need to try Pilates. I really think it's something for
It's
you."
true.
And
Yes.
yeah, I was then already, I think, 32. You start thinking about the kids. Actually, I was pregnant, and I said, I like my dancing, I like everything, but as you know, you can't do it forever.
Mhm.
Of course, you can do it forever, but let's say if you have a problem, then when does it stop? So yeah, I tried the Pilates in New York, and believe it or not, but my first teacher, of course, at the conference, it's not the same in a private, but was Mary Windsor. I was so like
Okay.
fucked
Yeah.
off, sorry for the word, like, wow, this is really something for me. She
Yes.
blew me away, and I said, I really want to learn this method. So, and before you
Yes.
know, you start doing Pilates, you learn the little things, and then before you
Dive
know, as a
deep, right?
physiotherapist, you see why should I treat people if I also can learn the preventive things? And before you know, you have a studio and you have the whole classical system. You learn it first.
Right.
My first education was a peak Pilates, also,
Okay.
believe it or not.
Same,
But
actually.
that
Yeah.
was a very good thing to, I still believe that was a very good level if you come from nothing out of the fitness to do
Yes.
the classic. Because many years ago, I don't know in America, but there was a huge, how do you say, difference between the classical teachers and the not classical.
Yes.
Thanks God for that, it's changed already. And yeah,
Hmm.
before you know, as you say, I always want to study, and then I did the real work. But
Yes.
and then you say, whoa, okay, this
Yes.
is different.
Well,
So
actually,
voila.
Els, and sorry to jump in there, but like, it's interesting that, coming from the personal training world, I have a very similar path, everybody, where I did peak Pilates and then went on and did a further apprenticeship. Chris Robinson taught us. So, and he, also learned from Romana and also from Jay. So, um, it's just interesting that when I did the peak Pilates and then went on and did my apprenticeship, the peak Pilates work made more sense to me.
Oh
And
yeah, then
it wasn't that it was bad or wrong. It's just that it just illuminated what I had already learned. I understood why I did this. I understood how that's connected, and it just pulled all the pieces together for me. So it really just reinforced for me the importance of continuing to learn. Like even after doing that apprentice, I've learned from other people. I've taken different courses, but it's just the Peak Plies was a good program, and actually meeting Claire has been fun too. Like Claire Dunphy has been
Claire
on here as well,
Dunphy.
and so I had the conversation with her, and it's fascinating to see her writing the curriculum, what was important to them at the time, and then what I learned after, and I understood how everything is tied in together and why one piece was set up in that way, why it was taught that way when the original exercise was this. Like it just made everything make sense for me,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
I think if you come from the fitness world, I at that time I had the same idea as you because it made logical steps then. But if I
Yes.
see now, I don't know, maybe if I did directly the classic, I think your body changed in a very different way. So I at
Yes.
this moment I think okay, it was what it is what it was. I did
Yes.
that program. I evaluate to the classical system, and I
Yes.
really don't know if we start at the classical system. Maybe my legs were already there, but is this the most important thing? I don't think so because I never going to do my leg here. I'm too athletic for this. But I totally understand what you mean. And I know Claire also because I was in Boston also with her many years ago. So
Mhm.
I think she also changed. I don't know if Claire is looking,
Mhm.
but I think at that time, yeah, they are
The
also
time, right?
growing. I see also now peak is not like peak in the past anymore. I don't
Yes.
know. I'm totally not following it anymore. I'm just focused on my
Take care of
on
your
what I
people.
learned with Jay, and
Yeah.
it's not that I stay only to this strictly. I
Mhm.
think as a trainer, you just developed your own system also. And like me, I
Yes.
have still my physiotherapy eyes
Mhm.
who are still
Yes.
looking into that system. And I think that's the most amazing thing that you as a trainer, you also made it to yourself and still using the most deep things you have to use in Pilates and
Well,
without
yeah.
to keep challenge your patients or your clients without
Yes.
losing the most basic stuff, of course, and for,
I think so.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
like even like oh sorry, go ahead, please.
sorry, and most important for all that you help everybody, if it is
Yes.
with the treatment or not. Uh, Everybody has to have a good feeling after,
Right.
mentally or physical. So that's
Absolutely.
why we are doing it.
So
Yeah.
my and even like I call my business Read Method Pilates, and it's not that I'm creating a new Pilates method as much as it's the marrying of the personal training world, the sport conditioning work, the all these different things. So like you're saying there, we find our own work within the work to some
Yes.
degree, right? So
Yes.
the way you and I with a classical repertoire in our head may present it differently because you're seeing it with a physiotherapist's eye, whereas I may be looking at it with a sport conditioning eye, depending on the
Mm-hmm.
person in front of me, right? So
Yes.
that's, I think, is the beauty of the work and the beauty of having individual teachers and coaches, someone that you connect with that sees the body that is in front of you and
Yes.
then can really pull your tools from everywhere to help the person to get to their
Yes.
goal.
That's very true. And but I do have to say, if I can say something back about the classical order, I
Sure.
have to say I really follow the classical order now. If you asked me, I think years ago before I did J, and you should ask, do you should follow the classical order? Are you going to change it as a physiotherapist to be sure that everybody can do the system? No, then I should say, okay, I change it. Now at this moment, I don't change anymore because I really saw if you stick to the order and then do things without losing the order, they still can do it, if you know what I mean. Like also
Absolutely. I hear.
somebody with things they have to make a deal with it. I don't skip exercises. Most of the time, they learn the exercises like it has to be, and then I just do a little thing, and it worked out. So that changed my head to
Yes.
10 years ago.
I
10
like
years
that.
ago, I was like something like I was really changing the exercise mode that they could. It's like Jay always told, you don't change the work change
Yeah.
you.
Do you
So
see
it's all
the
about
book?
things.
Can you see the book there on the ground?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that's one of my manuals there, and it has like I'm just looking at the advanced repertoire, and like to your point there, that's my challenge for one of my clients coming up is that I'm going back to going to teach them every single exercise in order, and then if they can't do something, it's like okay, where else can we go in the work so they could find that and then get back on track. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So we may
Yes.
not get through all the exercises, but when we get to swan, I may take them over to the ladder barrel to do the swan,
Yes.
right? Like,
Just
or
the
I may,
same.
and
Yeah.
yeah, just the same. So like, I have fun with that too, and I think that that takes a lot of work for us as teachers to do it that way. But I think that our clients benefit from it when we could take the time with the exercise and find the next exercise, but without skipping the exercise, find where we can find it in the work, find where we can find it in the room. That's I
Yes.
like as I like to say it, you know what I mean, and keep them moving with it. So yeah, so I hear you on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, that is very thanks to the classical work. If you know the equipment, you can play around, and yeah, it's never boring. Eh? Every day
Mm-mm.
you're doing the things, you say like, whoa, I can do this again. Oh, they can do this.
Yes,
So I surprise myself, and clients surprise themselves every day. So that's
absolutely.
amazing. Yeah. So
It's
that
it's
changed. Yeah.
Yes, no, that's good. And I was saying, I think I shared this a few weeks back. There were some exercises like on the chair that I had skipped because when I was learning them in my teacher training many years ago, it was just plain too hard. Coming in as an athlete, this kind of bulky football player guy, and not
Yeah.
having that mobility, I was just like, I just can't do that exercise. And so I forgot about it. I just skipped it, never taught it, never thought about it. And then I was taking a class, and then we went to that exercise, and I did it. And I was like, whoa, like I didn't realize that I had never even practiced it, but because I'd been doing some other pieces in the work
Yeah.
and other places that I was actually practicing and preparing for that exercise without even knowing it.
Yes.
So there's those fun discoveries that we find within our body as we progress with the work as well, right?
Yes, that's true. It's a never-ending story, and it's really true. So every day.
Hmm.
So yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Joel had a question or a
Joel.
comment here earlier. He said, I think everyone would like to know more about your hip hop career.
I knew Joel, if he's looking, he's going to ask personal things. Oh,
Yes.
Joel, maybe you had to chat also today with us.
I
Yeah,
Joe, yeah, Joel, if you
actually,
want to
I
join us on screen, you can give me a thumbs up and I'll bring you on. But
I catch you. Yes, I had a hip hop history.
oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I did hip hop competition in the very past. Yeah,
Okay.
so that
In
was
the
in the
very
aerobic
past,
time in
like
the 90s.
okay.
And then I stopped in 2002. So yes, we were the group here, and it was GS Dance Floor. So if they looking, GS Dance Floor was name. We were
Okay.
a few times Belgium champion and once vice world champion. So
Wow.
it's still something to be proud of it. Of course,
Yes.
then the YouTube didn't exist yet. So I don't know if there are movies, but it was, it's a pity. So yeah, I really, it's actually because of my hip hop that I came into the aerobic world, and because of that, I grow into the Pilates world. So I'm still
Right.
loving dancing, and I
I
think
see
Joel
that.
is asking this
Yes.
because when we were doing the work, and then we had our trips after the workouts, that we yeah, we once were on a thing, and I just started dancing, and they were looking to me, else are you dancing? And I couldn't stop anymore. So they always said after the COVID, I'm going to dance again. Okay. Yeah, but the things I post now, because you told me, oh, you asked me
Y-
something on the chat. What was that
Yes.
about yesterday? That was not hip hop, for to be clear. I
Yes.
just like to do some happy things, some after, and and these days, also, you have the people have to be lucky and to be smiling and don't be too worried again. And after the class, it's like, oh, okay, let's put some music on. And it was a Dutch music yesterday, so we had fun and just doing a little thing.
Nice.
But I was far off hip hop. So voila, that's
Yes.
so far for the hip hop.
Yes.
So Joel, I don't know if that's what you want to hear, but Eh?
Yes. So he's teaching right now, otherwise he'd jump in. Um,
Yeah, yeah, we
yeah,
catch him.
yeah, but that's I mean that's else that's it. Like I like that sense of like I'm like a serious guy. Let's get to work. Let's get you to your
Yeah,
goals. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. So to lighten up like that and to let's just dance to the other thing. Like I probably still won't do that, but like everyone has their style. Everyone has their thing that they do, right? Like so,
yes,
I love that. Like it's just like take it serious, but don't take it so serious. Like you know what
yeah.
I mean? It's
Actually,
Pilates, but it's just Pilates.
yes, and that I have to say, before COVID, I was always very serious, and Pilates is Pilates. You don't do anything else. Yeah, else. That was also something. My nickname, somebody else. It's with else. Eh?
Yes.
What do I say? Um, but it's because of, yeah. I start losing that a little bit. Like, and it's
Yes.
they always say that if you becoming older, you relativate more. So,
Hmm.
and I think COVID learned me that please don't be too serious every day. Just sometimes
Hmm.
let it go with the flow, and yeah. And in Belgium, I don't know the word in English, but we said I don't. There has to be a word in English. I don't. Knaldrang. In Dutch, we say knaldrang. You mean like after COVID, we all going to break out and we need to do the most crazy things.
Yes.
So I feel every week I have a few minutes like this. I need to do something.
Just it's
So
yes.
yes, and then
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So the
Well,
people here know me as Two Faces. Yeah,
that's so funny.
yeah.
Was there a time, just like during the whole like lockdown and all these different things, was there a moment when you thought like I'm gonna have to close permanently? I'm gonna have to shut this down? Absolutely.
Ah, yeah, yeah, we had to. Ah, yeah, you mean like forever, or
Like
you mean
yeah, like
like a
forever. Yeah.
lockdown?
No, no, like during the lockdown, I realized like I might not be able to afford to keep this closed.
No, no. Lucky for me, I never had that. No,
Okay.
because the twice, or I think twice or three, I don't know anymore. We had to be in lockdown. I still teach it online.
Hmm.
So I had a lot work online, and that was lucky for me. I had also money done. Thanks for this. Of course, it
Hmm.
was not the same if you're open. And then the third lockdown, as a physiotherapist, I still have a number. You mean in Belgium, we have a
Ah,
receive number.
yes.
I don't know if you know this. And then I
Yes.
could work with the receive number again. So that was lucky
Smart.
for me, I think, as a physiotherapist. Um, but I know a few other trainers who had to shrink in, or maybe
Mm.
I don't know if they stopped. Lucky for them, not. But I think a lot of trainers or owners had problems, of course.
Yes.
Um, so, but for me personal, lucky I didn't have to think about this. And of course,
Good.
I also think if my business is already, not that it is always say, but my studio opened in 2007. So if you're already a few years open and you have a basic client
Yes.
percentage, then yeah, lucky. But I think if you have to start and you are just
Tough.
opening, that is more
Yes.
difficult. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
it's not that I'm not in a big city. So yeah, I have still a good, yeah, clients
I'm
around
always
me.
I'm
So
always fascinated, Els, by like people who have like studios like yourself in not very big cities, because like you think that the only place that a studio would survive would be like a storefront downtown or like a big metropolis on in the suburbs sort of thing. Like so when I have people who have a studio in Wales and or a studio in like Atlantic Canada or these places that are really small population places and they're doing well, it makes me think that you have to be really good at building community.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
Like you have to be good at just gathering people, helping them to see results, and just like building a community of people who believe in the Pilates.
Yes, it's true. But yeah, it's not that we are living here with 10 people. Of course, it's Ali. I can imagine like our colleague in Iceland. That's another country than here.
Yes.
But you have a point. If people are satisfied and you help them, they tell it to the others. This
Yes.
one tell to the others. I don't need a lot of reclam, or how do you say it?
Advertising and
I don't
marketing.
thanks you advertising.
Yes.
So, and I truly believe that once you help them, they come back. And of course,
Mm.
they're always going to be, yeah, you always have a few people coming and then you don't see them for a while. And
Yes.
after,
The
you
drop
also
off
have this
and
little percentage, yeah? Like, I think I know 5 people and they come then for a year, very intensive. They have a goal and then you don't see them for a few months. And then after they
yes.
come back, yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to do this. Can you help me again? And then I was thinking, why didn't you do it further
Yes.
for every week or maybe once a week? Then you didn't have to start from zero
And
again.
again,
It's like
yes.
running. You have these runners. I know these runners, kind of runners, like
Here we
I had
go.
to laugh 3 weeks ago. I don't know if I have to tell you, but 3 weeks ago, my husband was walking. We have a dog, it's a dog, and Sunday I always do a long distance run. And he came back and he says, I saw a lot of other people outside. I never saw these runners. I say, me too. I said, these are the runners who starting again after a new
Years.
year because they
Yes.
have to lose weight again. And
Hmm.
it's the same in every branch, I think, in fitness and here, maybe in fitness even more. In Pilates, I think I
Yes.
have a really stable client. Yeah.
You're preaching
So,
about fitness as a lifestyle, Pilates as a lifestyle, running as a lifestyle, as opposed to a response to, or training for, or getting ready for a wedding or bathing suit season or something. Like those are two different conversations,
yes,
right? And it's to
yes,
get our people to recognize that this is something you do for life.
yes, yes. Yeah, for me personally, I don't understand these people. I
Yes,
could not imagine that I stopped doing this or this just because of this. But
absolutely.
yeah, but
There's
maybe
a
lucky for us, there are also so people because otherwise we don't have place anymore.
right, exactly.
And
Yeah.
yeah, to give you an answer, maybe to go back, you're always wondering if you live in a city or not in a city. Well, let's say if you have a lot of work, like I have a lot of work for this, but I'm looking for a really. I have one teacher who works for me. She's great. I know her for many years, but I'm still looking for others. That is
Mm,
difficult. If you're
is
not live
it
in a city, this is really difficult to find
right?
somebody like a good colleague to have the same skills, or maybe you, of course, I learned them the skill, but that's
Yes.
different. Yeah. So for
So are
that,
there
I
not
wish I was
any
living in a city.
are there
Yeah.
not any other Pilates studios anywhere close by or
I think the studio closest to me, a classical studio, is I
yes.
think 20 kilometers further, 30,
Okay.
something like this. So
Yes.
it's not that it's into the 5 kilometer area. I don't
Right.
know. Is it in Europe? But you're living in the city, yeah? So is there at any
Yeah,
corner a studio?
I'm in the suburbs, so like I'm in Mississauga, which is just outside of Toronto in Canada. So we're kilometers as well. So you say 20 or 30 kilometers. That's like me saying
Ah, okay.
someone's downtown Toronto, and that's the next closest Pilates
Ah,
studio.
okay.
So, you know, like
Okay.
it's yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you. So in terms of my area here, I have classical equipment, so this is like a classical studio.
No.
I don't know of any others, right? Like I mean, there's a lot of people who have, you know, like a lot of Stott Marathon type equipment, a lot of studios that have
Yes.
that in this area. The so yeah, and there's also across the street, Lifetime, they have like peak equipment,
Ah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, but in terms of Graz equipment, I think I might be the only person in this area.
Ah, yeah. Graz, I think also. I think the nearest is in Ghent, so that's 30 or 40 kilometers. Yeah. Um, yeah. Of course, you see a lot of in the fitness industry, the group classes, math, eh?
Yes,
But
right,
still, then it's not also the classical
right.
Pilates. It's mostly like a combination of yoga, Pilates, all this stuff.
Yes,
Eh?
more yoga than
So
Pilates.
yes,
Fine. Yes.
that changed.
Else,
That changed. Yeah.
good question for you. And I love connecting men to the work. I'm really that's one of the things that really excites me. That's kind of like my ideal person. What would what would be your advice to me to get more men doing Pilates?
The best advice to give you to do more men doing Pilates. First of all, and you are going to hear it, of course. Joseph was a man, so it wasn't a woman who developed it. So
Yes.
because still a lot of men thought 10 years ago, oh, it's for women. And then the first thing
Yes.
I say, well, then why was it a man who developed
Hmm.
it? And they say,
Yeah.
okay. So that's the first thing. But
Yes.
of course, for the message, maybe as a physiotherapist, I think about you mean and you're a man. The muscles are more tough, more. needed to stretches, more needed to don't only not only using the arms, for example, at the front side, but also using the back side, because
Yes.
otherwise you have a disbalance. So, and to be to make them preventive,
The
to
muscle
don't have
balance.
any injuries. So
Yes.
I always say to them, well, if you think it's for women, just give it one try, and you're going to
Mm.
see it's really not for women only. And
Yes.
actually, because here 5 years ago, I think I had 10 men, and then I started teaching a class only for men, like in a group. So I say only men are allowed,
Yes.
and I started with it. And then they were I didn't start with the easiest exercise, actually, because when you teach to men, they have to feel it, eh?
Yes.
Don't do only a roll-up. Even a roll-up is already very difficult for them. But it's
That's
like,
true.
in the beginning, I just make them sweating, not
Hmm.
thinking, and make them an effort that they were home. And I said, ah, okay, if I'm already sweating, what is a woman then? And of course, let them feel that this is really tough
Yes.
and that they have a problem the day after. And
Right.
then that works. The week after, they came back, whoa, I really feel that. And then before you
Hmm.
know, because also they're women, most of the women come here, and
Yes.
then because of the wife, I heard, hmm, he didn't say, but he came from the step the other day and he could not walk very
Yeah.
normal anymore. But the man didn't tell me, of course, because if you ask the man, they said, oh, I didn't feel a little,
Oh,
but
isn't that
okay.
bad?
So I said
Right.
second week, okay, let's do a little bit more. Of course, make it safe. We didn't do
Right.
unsafety stuff. And
Right.
so, like, before you know, a few months later, the group was really full, and now I have a waiting list for that group.
Amazing.
So,
Yes.
and also, yeah, that I don't know in your country, but the men here don't do a men group in the noon or in the lunchtime, of course. But
Okay.
for me, it's a late hour, very late hour in the evening, like
Yes.
9 p.m.
Really?
And
That
that
late?
works, yeah. Like, yeah, if
Interesting.
this
Yeah.
tonight,
It's
9 p.m.
true, you know. And
Yes,
also, not sorry to jump in there because but like a lot of guys will go out to play hockey at 10 o'clock after the kids are down, like
yes,
that sort of thing. So like I never thought to actually offer like a late night Pilates class to see what happens with it, right?
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, you have to treat different, of course, but also put it another hour. And
Hmm.
yeah, and my other group, so in my private, of course, I have also men. It's not that men can't come in the other hours, but to do a very specific hours for men, I think that
Yes.
helps, because not every man wants to learn Pilates with other women only.
True.
So
That's true.
for
Yeah.
those, just maybe figure it out and organize only men, and then you
Yes.
see what's going to happen. Because
Nice.
they also had a like a macho thing, eh? Some sorry,
True.
if you laugh with this,
No, no.
but you eh?
Go ahead.
I'm not a typical woman. Also, if I don't know if Joel still looks, but I'm training with Fernando, Miguel,
Oh
Joel,
yeah. Yeah.
and Noam, and I'm
And
the
no.
only sister. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm one of the men. They also told
Nice.
me.
One of the cool
So
kids,
maybe
right?
I understand that little
That
thing more
mindset.
than
No, it's true. It is true, and that's good. And I actually have a gentleman that plays a 6-year-old guy who plays a lot of hockey still and does all these things. And he's like, let's meet like every other week and we'll just stretch whatever. And then I give him a challenging workout, one that challenged his range of motion and challenged him strength wise. And then the next day he calls me, he says, the next day I went out to Tim Hortons, went to the coffee shop. I walked there and I felt lighter and I didn't know what I'd done the day before. And then I remembered that I did your Pilates class. So I'm calling you because I want to go every week now.
okay,
So
nice.
it's fascinating that not to contradict what you said, but instead of making it a super hard workout, I made it more of a flexibility based workout and challenged him. So he was sweating from trying to touch his toes or trying to get up into a swan or trying to use the push through bar. And then he was like, I just felt freer. And that sense of giving him a range of motion he didn't have before was just as beneficial as making it as hard as a weight workout for him.
Yes,
So
yes.
both strategies can work, right? So it's pretty
Both,
fascinating.
both, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, let them work
let him feel it.
harder. I did
Yes.
mean, of course, throw them everywhere, every corner
Yes.
and the room. Eh? Of course,
Right.
if you only want to reach to their toes, it's already hard for them. Eh?
Hmm.
But the most proven, if we can talk a little bit about men more, a few weeks ago, I remember at the end, I always start at the beginning of the class to standing and just see how far you can reach the floor. They
Yes.
always are amazing when they see at the end of the class that they can
Yes.
almost, or maybe the first time a few weeks ago, they could reach the floor. For them,
Yes.
that was they didn't
Sold.
understand that there's a difference. So that
Yes.
was some of them told me in the beginning, I don't know what you did, but I could
Yes.
never do this before. And now you do this in 1 hour. Say, it's the exercise. It's not me. I just choose the
Yes.
right exercise for you, and you did it for yourself. And for
Yes.
that, it was the most proven that it works. So I think that's good. Yeah,
That is good.
yeah.
Alice, thank you so
Voila.
much for joining me today. Like it's been fun.
Okay.
I love just talking shop with people and just like hearing what they do and what they're passionate about, and also to give the viewers just a snapshot of what Pilates is like in Belgium. Like
Yeah.
and yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's very cool. So
And we're a little part of Belgium.
yes,
Okay. Well, anytime.
nice.
Thank you for inviting me, Merton.
Yes,
And yeah, let's hope we see each other in the future, maybe in real life, or
that
let's
would be so
chat
fun.
again. And if you invited Joel again, I want to
Hmm.
be with him in the chat.
Okay, I'll
Then
let
we
you
talk
know.
about that other thing.
Yes.
And
The
I saw, yeah,
Oh no,
tell me.
sorry, I was gonna say while you're reading that, do you have any like online workouts or workshops or any classes that we can join in and sign up for or anything?
For me, you mean online?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, but of course I teach online, but like workshops, I planning them again in the fall this year because
Okay.
the rest of the year yeah, I had other plans. So I come normally 3 times to America this year to train and to study. I'll visit Joel, of course, also
Hmm.
in Atlanta. And then yeah, the workshops online, as I said, it's coming, but just be a little bit patient. But for those who wants to train with me, I'm here. We can figure it out when. And I
Yeah.
have my little part students here who come training, and I always can do it online also if they want. Yeah,
Okay.
but I
Perfect.
need to make more advertising. That is something I have to learn more, and I see it from my brothers. So I'm going to make a deal with it this year. I'm going
There
to
you
work for
go.
that.
Nice. That's
Okay,
so fun,
good.
Alice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Martin. See you.
Yes. And
Bye bye.
see you. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. And thank you to everyone. Joel, thank you so much. Thanks for everyone joining us today. Katie Green, see you there. Positive Pilates. Meryl Pilates, good seeing you today. Carrie Miller, thank you for joining us. All right, so we are back at it tomorrow and Friday. We have Jonathan Olvin on Friday. So it's going to be good. Looking forward to these chats. Thank you for joining us again. See you guys tomorrow, 10 o'clock. That's how we do.